Something insidious almost completely tanked my design business, and here's why. Everyone has been telling me to find my style, find my niche, which makes sense on paper, right? But it's not the whole story. You see, I spent months, like actual months, perfecting this whole modern farmhouse thing because that's what everyone said I needed, a signature look. And then client after client would look at my portfolio and say, "Oh, I love your work, but it's just not really my style." Until I figured out the right thing that literally took me from scraping together $2,000 months to hitting $20,000 of my interior design business. Hey everyone, Amelia here. Today I wanted to share something I wish I knew earlier in my career as a designer. And that is to stop having a style. I know, but hear me out. Instead, I want you to think differently. Instead of finding a style, find a system. I'll show you exactly how that works in this video. You may have seen it, but every single design course, every Instagram guru with their perfect flat lays, every blog post you've ever read, they all say the exact same thing, right? Develop your signature style. Be known for something. Find your niche. And I'm just gonna say it. In today's world, it just doesn't work that way. You know what actually happens when you become the mid-century modern girl? You get exactly 3 types of clients, maybe 4 on a good month. But the other 97% of the market, they're scrolling right past your stuff. They don't even stop. And here's what really gets me. You become just another option. Like there are literally thousands of other modern farmhouse designers on Instagram right now. Thousands. So why should anyone choose you? Because somehow your shiplap is better? Because your white subway tile is whiter? I mean, come on. So here's when everything clicked for me. I just lost my 5th client, 5th, to this whole style mismatch thing. And I'm sitting there at my kitchen table, my daughter finally asleep, staring at my laptop thinking, what am I doing wrong? After some time, it finally hit me. Clients don't hire you for your style. They hire you to figure out their style. It's true, they literally cannot articulate what they want. That's the whole reason why they need you in the first place. They're coming to you with screenshots from 14 different Pinterest boards that have nothing in common, and they're like, help. Your job isn't to have a style. It's to be like, okay, this may sound weird, but it's to be like a translator. Someone who can decode all the stuff that they can't put into words. This is where it gets interesting. When a client says, I want a modern farmhouse, they're not actually talking about design. Not really. They're talking about feelings. And once I figured this out, everything changed. So here are some more examples that I've learned over the years. Let me decode what these people are actually saying when they throw these terms around. When someone says modern farmhouse, what they mean is, I want to feel grounded and comfortable, like I'm at home, but I don't want it to look like my grandma decorated it. Minimalist? That actually means my life feels absolutely chaotic right now and I need my home to be the opposite of that. I need visual calm because my brain is not calm. When someone says maximalist, which I love by the way, they're really saying, I have a personality. I want my home to actually reflect who I am, not look like page 47 of a Pottery Barn catalog. Traditional is code for, I want to feel like I've made it, like I'm established and successful and have my life together. And bohemian, that's, I want to feel creative and free and I don't have to follow anyone else's rules. See what I mean? Once you get this, you stop decorating and you start, I don't know how else to put it, translating emotions into actual rooms. Now, how do you know what your clients really want? Because that's the most important thing, right? Over the years, I refined and developed critical questions that changed my client process. These reveal what people really want, not what their Pinterest board told them they should want. Here are 5 of these questions. Question 1, and this one's my favorite. Tell me about the best hotel you've ever stayed in. like the one where you didn't want to check out. This shows you their actual comfort style, not their Instagram aspirations. The answers are always so revealing. Question 2, what's the one piece of furniture you've owned that you will literally never get rid of? I had a client once tell me about this hideous orange chair from her grandmother, and I'm like, perfect. Now I know your emotional anchors. Now I know what actually matters versus what you think should matter. Question 3, and people always pause on this one. When you're stressed, what room do you gravitate to and why? This tells me how they actually use their space, not how they think it should look for company. Here's question 4. If your best friend was describing your personality to someone who'd never met you, what 3 words would they use? Not what you want them to say, what they'd actually say. Now I know what your space should feel like. Forget what it looks like. And question 5, this is a big one. What's one current thing about your space that if I changed it, you'd be honestly devastated? This shows me the non-negotiables, the stuff that no mood board is ever going to reveal. I had someone say my morning coffee spot by the window, for example, and I'm like, noted, that's sacred, we're not touching that. Instead of finding my style, I became a master of figuring out my client's style. Here's the actual system I use now to execute literally any style brilliantly. I call it my 7-3-1 formula because, former accountant, I need to make numbers to make sense of things. 70% is what I call the foundation. These are the elements that work in literally any style. Proper scale, huge by the way, good lighting, cannot stress this enough, and functional flow. If you can't walk through the room without bumping into stuff, I don't care how pretty it is, it's not working. Get these right, and honestly, any style will work on top of it. 30% is the character. Okay, this is where their actual style lives. The specific colors they keep coming back to, the textures that make them happy, the patterns they actually notice. And then the 10%, this is my favorite part, is what I call surprise. This is what makes it custom, not catalog. It's that unexpected thing that makes them go, oh my God, how did you know I'd love that? Let me give you a real example. I have this client who wanted, and I'm quoting, coastal grandmother, which, okay, sure. So here's how I broke it down. 70% foundation. Super comfortable seating that was actually scaled right for her room. Not too big, not too small. Layered lighting so that she could set different moods and clear pathways because she has grandkids running around. 30% characters. We did soft blues, but not cliche nautical, natural textures like linen and jute. And she had these amazing vintage finds from actual antique shops, not home goods. 10% surprise. Her actual grandmother's china, but displayed in this super modern, unexpected way on floating shelves. She literally cried when she saw it. The room feels coastal grandmother, but it's her coastal grandmother, Not just some generic Pinterest board coastal grandmother. Okay, here's where it gets really genius. When you can execute any style, your portfolio becomes magnetic to literally everyone. And I mean everyone. I show the exact same portfolio to a total minimalist and a total maximalist. You know why it works? Because I don't say, look at my signature style. I'm like, look at how I translated what each client couldn't put into words into their absolutely perfect space. My portfolio right now has 7 completely different styles. Like you would not know that they're all from the same designer. And every single client says some version of the same thing. I love how different each project is, but they all feel so personal. That's it. That's when they hire me. Because they know I'm going to create their space, not just my space that happens to be in their home. So here's the thing. You need to stop trying to be known for a style. Start being known for results. The designer who only does modern farmhouse, yeah, she gets modern farmhouse clients. That's it. The designer who can translate anyone's chaotic Pinterest board into their dream space, we get everyone. And here's what nobody tells you. You can charge way more. I'm serious. Signature style designers, they're all competing on aesthetics. It's like, whose white kitchen is whiter? But design translators, we're providing a custom psychological service. That's worth 3 times more, easy. I went from charging $500 for a room and feeling guilty about it to charging $2,000, sometimes more, and having a wait list. Same me, same skills, totally different approach. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're really known for something that is screaming you, that's great. The main issue is when everyone is becoming like everyone else because of the same advice that says you need to find your style, your niche. I'm a living example of how that just doesn't work. The thing is, you already have this skill. If you're rearranging rooms in your head when you walk into them, if you notice when something's off scale, if you can't help but mentally redecorate every Airbnb you stay in, you're actually already doing this. You just need to package it differently. And speaking of packaging it differently, your portfolio. That's where this whole translator thing becomes real. Like, it's one thing to say you can do any style, but your portfolio needs to actually show it. I made a whole video about how exactly to build a portfolio that gets you hired. It's literally called Watch This Before Creating Your Interior Design Portfolio. And honestly, watch it right after this one because it shows you exactly how to present these different styles in a way that makes clients go, oh my God, you get it. Stop asking for permission to be a designer without a signature style. Just be a translator instead. Trust me on this one. Your bank account will thank you, and your clients will too. My name is Amelia, and I'll see you in the next one.